Well, hello everybody. Hello Saltley. How are you all? I hope you're doing really well. Welcome to today's podcast. In this session, we're going to be discussing the importance of a daily routine, and is a daily routine important? So, with us on this podcast, we have obviously our head teacher, Mr. White.
Hi there, everybody.
We have our head of house for Turing, Mr. Eman.
Hello, everyone.
And we also have Mr. Turner, our safeguarding officer.
Hi, guys.
Okay, so what we're going to be looking at in this one is we're going to be speaking and listening to a couple of our students, and during that time we're also going to be discussing importance of a daily routine. What are the benefits? Are there any mental health benefits? Are there any drawbacks? How does it actually work in a home setting if you're trying to sort out a routine? And maybe what are the small steps we can take to maybe organise a routine in our environment and in our home environments currently as we're working remotely. So, Mr. White, if I could hand over to you.
Yeah, so in my daily update last week, I asked any students whether there was anybody who wanted to share their daily routine, just so we could perhaps have a discussion about it, see what was good about their routine, see what was bad, and see if we could offer any advice to anybody out there. So first up, we've got Hawa. Hawa's in year 11 and is our head girl.
Hello everyone, my name's Hawa and I'm a student in year 11, and I'll be talking you through my school routine and what my ideal morning looks like. So I start off my day by waking up at 8:30. I then freshen up and eat breakfast so that I'm prepared for the day. I'll then go downstairs into my conservatory where my work desk has been set up. So personally for me, I find it more convenient if I go someplace else other than my bedroom so that I'm more motivated to do my work. So on my desk, I've made sure all my equipment is ready in preparation for my lessons. So I'll have my revision guides out, my writing books, my stationery, my laptop, anything I need for lessons, rather than me during my lessons interrupting and then getting up to find my books. It's just, it just wastes time. So it's more better this way. And then at 9 o'clock, I start my online lessons. And then once I finished at 2:30, I take a break and I relax and just get anything I need to get done. Then again, between 4 and 6 p.m., I'll complete any assignments I've yet to complete, and I'll do some of my own revision. And then after that, I just chill like we've all been doing for the past year. I must say, it is really hard being at home, and it can be quite stressful because the days are just very repetitive and boring. But I think the best way to make use of this time and to allow the days to feel faster is to maybe pick up a hobby, whether that be learning a new skill, learning how to cook, just anything. I think it's very ideal, and I think we can all take this time as a blessing in disguise to learn essential skills that we may need in life. So, for example, I've been learning how to cook, but then also I'll admit, and some of you guys may laugh at this, but to um, spend my time, just to allow time to pass, I binge watch Netflix series. But I mean, that's just what I do, and yeah, and I just want to say thank you all for listening, and I hope that what I've spoken to you guys about today, maybe it'll inspire you guys to change your routine or even make a routine. So thank you all for listening.
All right, so that was Hawa. What do you guys think about that?
Well, that was amazingly organised. What people's thoughts on the organisation that Hawa shared with us there?
I think it's very nice that Howard's clearly described how she lays out all her equipment and her revision guides and laptop away from social spaces within the house, where she's kind of put it out in the conservatory where it's a quieter space. She's got everything organised for the day, and hopefully in the conservatory she's still getting a bit of daylight as well, which is nice to keep that kind of fresh environment away from what she would normally consider her social spaces within the house.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that's brilliant, and I think one of the things that Howard touched on as well, having that individual space. If you have it, some people don't always have that space, but if you have some designated space, and then break away from that space as well, and go and have your social time or your relaxation time in a completely different space, so you can break up your home arrangements and your day.
I really liked as well that she was disciplined as well to be up by 9 o'clock, ready and waiting. It's so easy, isn't it, to fall into that trap of having a lie-in and sort of pushing, I'll start later and work later, but it never really happens. I think getting out of bed and getting that day started on time is definitely an essential part of that routine for me.
Yeah, I think that structure is really nice. I think we all struggle with that structure when it's taken away in terms of a school day or a timetable, but keeping that in mind is really good.
I'd say as well, though, I think it's it's really important that we're spending so much time on screens, either on our tablet or our laptop or our phones, and we're watching a lot of videos. We're having a lot of online lessons, which is really important. But sometimes you probably need a bit of a break, so you might want to move away from the screen time and then maybe just using a book, using pen and paper might give your eyes a bit of a rest. It might give you maybe some, the creative and imaginative type of work might come out a bit more on paper sometimes. So break it up a bit, I would say as well.
Well, she spoke quite a lot about sort of trying to turn a blessing in disguise. I think that's a really interesting sort of part of resilience there. I think that she's showing is recognizing when there's some really hard times, which we're all going through some really tough times at the moment, but trying to turn those hard times into a positive to help her stay strong. And she spoke about hobbies. So, has anybody got any good hobbies they want to share with us?
Oh, do you know what? Recently, just something. I'm not sure if it's quite a hobby, but there's a lot of I'd say therapeutic fidget toys out there, and they don't cost much on Amazon. But just having one of those on the desk, just to have that breakaway time, as Mr. Turner was just saying, with that toy as well. But the other thing is, I think exercise has become a new hobby more recently. I don't know if anybody else has got a routine planned in where they've got certain exercises that they're doing.
Well, I'm definitely in that boat. For me, I've got to up my game in the lockdown period. I said to myself in the last lockdown that I think most people know that I drive quite far, so my commute's 100 miles each day. It's 2 hours in the car every day, and I said, well, if I'm not doing that and I'm working from home, then I'm going to dedicate that time to exercise. And I find it really, really beneficial to have that healthy body, healthy mind, because I'm not walking about as much at work. I can, at school, I can put in 10 kilometers just by doing my job, but obviously I'm just not even doing those simple paces around the school. So to actually do some structured quality exercise, I think is essential for me, and I'd encourage everybody to do that, obviously in a safe and controlled way as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, definitely. And one of the other things I think is beneficial is in terms of hobbies and relating to health as well, is just maybe looking at our diet and what we're eating and cooking as well. So now that we're home, maybe we can help out more and dip into the kitchen. So myself and my daughter loves baking and she loves cooking. But we've been, upping our game and maybe creating a bit more healthy menus and I've taught her how to cook a few different things, and that's been nice for family as well.
Yeah, I have to agree. Unfortunately, unlike Mr. Turner, I've probably gone towards a slightly more unhealthier diet. So I probably enjoy baking as well, but maybe not looking at the health benefits of all of it. Personally, for me, in terms of hobbies, I have been trying the baking, I have been trying the cooking, to be honest. But one of the things I've been quite happy to be able to do again with the lockdown is starting to read again. Just pick up a book and read a book and be able to spend time to be able to do that and find the time to be able to do that, and then just being able to improve my vocabulary and learn new things.
Sure. So I said exactly the same to myself a number of weeks ago. It got to the point where sort of it looked like the Christmas holiday was sort of going to continue, and I sort of said, "Do you know what? I've watched everything I want to watch on Amazon or Netflix, and especially Disney Plus. My God, I think I've watched everything on there. I've done all of that, and there isn't new stuff out there on YouTube for me. It's all just the same stuff. So why don't I actually spend a bit of quality time reading a few books that, to be honest, I'm ashamed to say have been on my bookcase for a while now, and I've not actually picked them up. And I think that's so important. Did I just see Miss Amin join us? Miss Amin, are you there?
Yes, I certainly am. There is a bit of interference, I think. Well, not I don't think at my end. So I will kind of be correcting myself, so apologies for that. But yes, I think I've kind of been listening, and I think what we have discussed in terms of the importance of a routine, how it kind of motivates us and have a structure to the day, it most certainly has helped me and my children and lots of students that I'm talking to whilst I'm making the welfare calls. I think it's really important to have a start time, a really good healthy diet like Mr. Turner and Mr. Rahman mentioned, but also the exercise aspect, like you, sir. I've also kind of am motivating myself to have a daily walk. Just get out there and have a bit of fresh air. It makes such a huge difference. And that's been really, really helpful for me. Although I have lapsed this week, unfortunately, due to the weather, I'll kind of excuse myself, but I definitely will be, getting myself to start that again. So I suppose what I'm saying is sometimes, although we have a routine and we don't always kind of tick all the things that we kind of have on our list of things to do, but it's kind of there as a reminder to kind of keep going and keep a structure to the day.
I completely agree. Why don't we listen to Mohsin in year 7, who wanted to share his routine with us?
So, as usual, I start off brushing my teeth and eating my breakfast. Well, then I realize the time. The time when I wake up is around 7 or 8 o'clock. During that period, then I go to my room and open the first drawer to my left. I take out my school equipment and all my work and my paper ready for my next lesson. I start my lessons at 9 o'clock and finish them at 2:30. At 11 o'clock at dinner time, I eat my dinner and play with my siblings. It's really crucial to remember not just to sit down on any device you're using. You should do a little bit of exercise. So, being me, I ride my bike after school and go for a walk. Sometimes play football with my siblings. And then I finish any assignments for me to hand in. So that's my typical school day. And just remember, if you do go outside, wear a mask because it really does help. And social distancing is a really, really, really crucial part to this coronavirus.
Well, there was Mohsin there, I think, giving some really important messages.
I think that was brilliant. I think the way he started off as well, and sometimes we don't always mention this for fear of embarrassment, but just to make sure that our hygiene is really on point. Get up, have a shower, brush our teeth, make ourselves look good, and it helps your gives you a bit more motivation, makes you feel a bit good about yourself. Sometimes I think when we have those pajama days, they need to be occasional, not regular. So yeah, I'd say that keep our hygiene up is really important.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that as well. I think just by kind of implementing that in your routine, so doing exactly what we would normally do on a school day, and on the weekend we do wake up and actually just go through the part of having our bathroom check-in and kind of going over what we do need to do, getting ready. One of the things I actually done last week, which I stopped doing because I wasn't at work, was actually put some perfume on, and I thought what a difference that was. So again, it does make a huge difference. So we encourage you all to keep continuing to do what you would do if you would normally be coming into school.
I liked his reference to his siblings. It's amazing how supportive family can be at this time. But of course, I think it's worth recognizing that it's normal not to always get on with your siblings all the time, especially with us spending so much time at home. I don't know if anybody else had siblings at home when they were growing up, but I'm the youngest with 2 elder sisters, and I definitely remember having a few fights and arguments with them. But of course, that never lasted very long, I suppose.
Yeah, I can recall growing up in a very crowded household, but I think the great part of being or having siblings with you is that you can always rely on their support as well, especially in a learning environment. it gives you the chance to kind of pick their brains when you are struggling and if you do need support.
So would we say now, I mean, going back to obviously our original question of is a daily routine important? Clearly there are, you know, a tremendous amount of benefits, and I guess is there a consensus in the room that, you know, is a daily routine important? And you know, if you could pick, say, 3 things that were key to your daily routine, what might they be? Over to you, Miss Amy.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's kind of doing pretty much what I would normally do. So having that routine, like we've just talked about, getting myself ready, having a good space, you know, to kind of do what I need to do for the day. I am a to-do list person, so I like to create a list and kind of record what I like to do, and kind of, you know, that kind of keeps me motivated, but also on target. I think having a good, healthy lunch is also something that I've kind of incorporated in my routine. And finally, the social connections element, so kind of reaching out to a friend or, you know, a work colleague, or even, you know, talking to my mom on a daily basis. I think that's really, really helped me to kind of keep connected, and also feel, you know, have a really good feeling, you know, throughout the day for myself also.
If we thought about, I'm just thinking, if we thought about maybe students out there who haven't quite got themselves into that routine, you know, as parents, many of us ourselves are parents, what kind of advice might we give to students and parents to work together to maybe devise a plan to engineer a routine if they haven't got one at the moment? Mr.
Yeah,
Turner?
I think I sometimes fall into that bracket because of my wife works from home. You know, us as staff are working from home. My children are learning online. Um, one's learning online and one goes to nursery some days of the week. So I suppose what we kind of have to do is just split our day into different departments and different timelines. So, you know, for our students working at home and some of their parents will be working at home as well, maybe it's the case that, you know, you don't all work at the same time. Maybe it's the case where the siblings may need to look after their little siblings for a while. And then when parents are working online, then they swap over and the students, you go and do your online learning. But I think and with that, communication is the key. As long as you communicate, you know, parents and guardians with their children, and you know, brothers and sisters as well. Communication would be the key. You know, sometimes you might have to say, "Look, I have to do this. Is really important. Can I have this half an hour or hour to myself?" And then you guys can have the time after that. So as long as you're communicating, you might need to just literally draw it out and do a timetable, and let your parents and guardians know what your timetable looks like.
Yeah, I would agree with Mr. Tanner. On the flip side to that, I think in terms of starting a routine or getting into a routine as a family, I think just starting with the small things, maybe something with having meals together as a family. So making sure that at breakfast or at lunchtime and at dinner in the evening, you take that time out and you eat as a family and structure your day, starting with the small things, and then that can help you build into larger timetables and structures and knowing when who's working on the laptop and who's taking the time out to do something else away from screen time.
Yeah, so I think I would also agree. It is possibly, you know, the way forward is to actually start small. So, you know, not kind of, you know, setting yourself, you know, too big of expectations. They do have to be realistic. You know your family's best, and you know your kind of way of kind of living currently, the way that we are with very limited, you know, outside activities. So it's very much about, you know, seeing, maybe having a little family meeting, deciding what's going to work for you as a family, but setting simple, you know, straightforward goals, and starting with just maybe a morning routine or maybe an afternoon, what works best for you, and then maybe just develop and grow that to becoming, you know, a full day.
Well, I think that we're probably coming close on time. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Sodi? But for me, just to finish off, then I would say that everything we've discussed about routines, I think, is really important. But also, we shouldn't beat ourselves up if our day isn't perfect. I think I think showing up and getting yourself in that mindset is the biggest hurdle. So anybody who's not started that yet, congratulate yourself when you show up. And if that is at 10:30 and you intended that to be at 10 o'clock, and actually tomorrow it might be earlier, don't put off tomorrow what can be done today. There is no such thing as perfection. So every step towards getting a bit more of a routine, getting a focus on your education, and trying to make it the best of this situation, for me, you should pat yourself on the back and be congratulated for.
Yep, and I'll probably just like to say that, my message really is to kind of, the most important thing I feel what I want to say is that be kind to yourselves. We are going through, another, difficult stage. Just like Sir says, I think it's really important to recognise and celebrate, whatever achievement it is. If it is by waking up in the morning, attending your online lessons or connecting with a friend or maybe even going out for a walk. It's really, really important that we recognise and actually, celebrate that as an achievement, because it most certainly is at this, given time. All the best. And please, I think what I want to also say is if there's any kind of, messages or any kind of information that you want to kind of ask us, then please do so, because we'll be more than happy to kind of, deliver as much as we can to help us all through this time.
So I think that's coming up to the end of our time on here. So I'd like to just thank the staff that have been on this podcast, and particularly the students who shared their routines with us. So just finishing up on that, maybe have some reflection time on your routine and how it's working for you, but remember to be kind. Have a great day, everybody.